We are in the digital world today. If you have a website or you are on any social site or even a dating site, the only thing that people will see is your face. Hello, I am Valentina and I'm the host of this show, Sitting Pretty in Valentina Design Universe series with Randall Whitehead. He will delve into how to make beautiful portraits, even if it's a selfie. Randall, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
I love coming down here. Thanks.
I know. You must have liked it the first time. That's why you came back the second time.
It's true.
Yeah. It's a good experience.
It is. And great food, too.
Good. So tell us, we all make selfies these days. We love make selfies, right? Is there something that you see wrong in some of the selfies, or they're all perfect? What is your take about that? I think we have an image one here that it will come up.
Oh, yeah. They're not all perfect, for sure. My feeling is that nobody has an arm long enough to make a good selfie. And so I took a selfie of myself, and what you see is that I got a really big forehead and a really small chin because people are trying to do this with their hands and get it, and so it's very odd, it's very distorted. So I think the best selfie is one that's taken by somebody else. It's a little bit back, a little bit of distance from you. And I think that makes a really big change.
So the arm that goes with you attach on the phone, doesn't that help?
It does help. That would be a good step to use a selfie stick in there. But then you're not really controlling the light, the angles, what you're wearing, things like that, that really, if you're going to present yourself, this is the one shot that you've got on your dating website. You don't want it to be distorted. You want it to be the very best version of yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you're trying to get someone. You have to put your best face forward, right?
That's right. That's right. And maybe a few other parts.
True. But so you are a photographer, you're a professional photographer.
I am.
Do you use a special camera for doing a portrait, or I think we have an image here, number 2?
I have a pile of cameras at home, and I had studio lighting, and what I found was that using my iPhone really produces an excellent kind of image.
Right.
For me, I can do a lot of editing on the phone, and people aren't intimidated by a phone. They're used to seeing phones in people's faces all the time.
Right.
But with a big camera there, then you kind of freeze up, or you do what I call photo face, where you go every time, and that doesn't reveal anything about the person. So what I use is the cell phone, and I get people comfortable because I'm talking to them and I'm just relating to them. And what I like to get is what I call the photo in between photos, when you're just unguarded for a moment, because then your true self comes forward, and it tells a lot about the person from that one image, because you only have that one that people are going to know.
Moment.
That's right, an unexpected moment.
Right. I saw the number 2 picture. Can we see that again? Yeah.
All right, so
what do you see here?
Well, we have natural light going on, which I think is really important. It's really capturing the color of the gentleman's eyes, his skin tone, the tone of his clothes. And in a studio setting, natural light really tells you what the true colors are of a person and what it is that they're wearing. And so I really love that. And that's why I use it. And people are just more comfortable there. If they're assaulted by big studio lights or cameras and tripods and things, they can't really be themselves. When you've got them in a natural environment, they relax a little bit.
true. A very natural light is just, I think, the best for just about anything, not just portrait, right?
Yeah.
But that picture was pretty good.
Thank you.
Really, that was very nice. I think it brought out the eye color of the man also.
Yes,
Yeah?
it did.
Yeah, very deep. Yeah. So if I use my iPhone, which I do all the time, is there a particular setting that I should use, or particular? What do you do with your iPhone?
Well, there's a couple of settings that I use all the time. The first one, that's basically iPhone 7 on, is the live setting. And what it does is when you take one picture, it takes 20 pictures. So it's within that 1 second, you get these 20 pictures that you can choose from. And it used to be before, if somebody blinked and you took the one shot, it doesn't work. But you can go on either side of that blink and get the perfect shot. So you have 20, for every one shot, you have 20 moments that you can pick from, which I think is fantastic.
So it's like the live setting is just like an older camera where you had all the segments that you could shoot all at once, right?
That's right.
The same thing.
That's right.
Except you don't have to click.
Right, you don't have to think about it.
Right.
It just happens naturally, and then when you push the edit button, then they all show up along the bottom, and you can scroll back and forth to find the one that you really like.
Very
or
nice.
two that you really like.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a big difference. The other setting that I like to use is the portrait setting, and that's kind of new. And what it does give you the option for studio lighting and things like that. So I have the next picture we have is of a young girl, and it's just the natural setting, and you can see the background behind
5
her.
and 6.
There we go.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
And so when I take that on the portrait mode, I can put a black background behind her if I want to. So if you look at the next shot, you'll see that she is in a different position, but everything that was there before can go away. And that portrait setting is pretty amazing. And they don't really tell you about it. You have to kind of discover it. So I'm helping you discover some of these settings that you have on your phone already that can give you a studio type portrait if you want, but you still have natural light that you're dealing with. So I think that's what really makes it so great.
Very nice. I like this idea of obscuring the background and having just a face showing up.
I think it can be very effective.
Very nice. I have now quite a few ideas of things that I can do with that.
Yeah, it's already on your phone. It is. Pretty amazing.
Yes. So, still using the iPhone, is there an app, a particular app that you can download that will make the portrait a little more refined?
Yeah. There are a couple that I use. There's one that's called Camera Plus. I think it's $1.99.
And then we'll see that on picture 7 and 8?
We won't see those.
No, we don't?
We won't see those.
Okay.
And that is one, maybe we do. And what it does is you can adjust colors, you can adjust clarity on the shot. There's a lot of little things that you can do, which I really like. And the other one is called Blur and Bokeh. And basically what it does is that if you have a lot of what I'll call visual noise behind the person, it will soften that all out. So you can do it after the fact. So in the portrait mode, you can do it. But if you happen to be doing it in the live mode and you want to have the soft background, Blur and Bokeh will do it. And that's a free download. That doesn't cost you anything.
Nice.
So I think those are two ones that I would really recommend that you use.
And what's the first one again? Say it again.
It's called Camera Plus. So it's Camera Plus sign.
Oh, okay. So that's free also.
No, that's $1.99. You're going to have to spend $1.99. But I think it's okay.
Yeah.
It's worth the investment.
I think it is. Because I've seen some of the sample you sent me. They're pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
They can make a person really, really nice. Yeah. So, but the question now is, since we're using a lot of the iPhones, is there a real work for a photographer these days?
It is for me. It's I book about 4 portrait sessions every 3 days. So I average about 2 a day. That's 10.
Wow.
That's 10 in a week. And I can just show up at somebody's place of work as long as I can find nice, soft, natural light. And a place that has a relatively gentle background to it, then I can do it right there. They don't have to come to a studio. I will take people outside. I'll find murals to put them in front of, or shadows or texture. And for them, it's a little bit more of an adventure. They get relaxed because they're walking around, they're not thinking about it, and I am talking to them the whole time so that they're engaged with me. And then I just get one of those moments that really makes a difference.
I'm sure. So I thought that these days it's kind of difficult, other than weddings, it's kind of difficult to get photographer work, right? But it isn't.
It isn't for me. Everybody wants a good portrait. They, like you were mentioning, for their LinkedIn page or for their Facebook page or for their own website, but also for dating websites. I think that's really important, to have a good shot of yourself. And a selfie is not going to be a good shot.
No, unless you know how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So what is the technique that you use to get a best portrait?
All right, so there are 4 things that I would have you take a look at or use over and over again. Never take a picture of somebody in bright sunlight. You want to push them into the shade. Okay?
Right.
And so that really softens the light on their faces, gives you a little bit of dimensionality, but it's not harsh at all, so it's a very complimentary light. The other thing that what you want to do is you want to bring that camera up just above eye level so you get a really good jawline. Everybody looks good with a better jawline, right?
True.
You want to have that.
Yes, yeah.
Then I also want you to use the live setting so that you have as many pictures to deal from. So let's say I take, sometimes I'll take between 75 and 100 pictures during a sitting, and I will have people come in and they'll have 3 different outfits. And I'll take lots and lots of pictures, and then the live gives me 20 times more pictures than I had before. So that's the third one. And then the last one is to take lots and lots of pictures. It's not film anymore. We used to be very conservative. Oh, I got only 36 shots, so let's make them work, and then we have to wait for the developing to see how it comes out. We can see immediately how things are working and not working. You can show that to the person so they can see what they like and what they don't like. So for me, those are the things. Put them in shade, a little bit above, take lots of pictures, and use the live setting. With those 4 things, you and a friend can do a pretty good job of taking good pictures of each other.
True, very true. I did not understand one time, a reporter took a picture of me for a magazine. And I was sitting in the street, basically, nearby a flower bed in the street in Los Altos. And she took a shot of me from the way from the top. And I said, why is she doing that? And what's the reason for taking the picture from the top of a person and not face on?
Well, it's just sort of, let's call it an artistic angle that they're doing. And what it does is that it brings your face forward and then your body falls away, so that it's all about the face. And sometimes it does some nice elongation to people, but I probably wouldn't do that. You only need to come up just a little bit to give people their best shot. But you see that in the selfies all the time. People are holding the camera like this.
Yeah,
but
because I had to look up at her in order to, because that's what she told me to do, look up.
Well, it's kind of, it's not a very natural setting. It's like a giant is taking your picture.
But I read somewhere else that that type of shot is to avoid wrinkle under your neck and to avoid maybe a double chin. And if you look up like that, everything will be stretched. But it doesn't look natural to me.
It doesn't look natural.
Yeah.
Now, George Hurrell was a photographer in the 20s and the 30s, and he was famous for putting all of the movie stars lying down, taking their pictures to make the all those wrinkles go away.
Yeah.
So I have taken a few pictures of people on the floor. That's okay. As long as it's a good rug behind them and a good background, I'm okay with that.
Good, good. Me too. So when we look at a portrait, I noticed that the first thing we look is the face. Doesn't matter what's around, or even if there is a full body of a person. The first thing the eyes go to is the face. Is that because the face it's always in the higher light than the rest, or because we need to highlight it with darker clothes? Why is that the eyes is drawn to the face?
Well, that's actually what you want. You want the eyes, because it is about the person, unless it's a photo shoot, and then it is about what the person is wearing. So a lot of times I do recommend that people wear darker colors so that it's their face that comes forward. And I think that works really well. But it doesn't always have to be that way. I like to see a little bit of variety.
I see a number 10. Sorry for interrupting you.
That's all right.
Nice picture.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
so definitely we're seeing the face there,
right.
the dark clothing.
I see in the dark clothes, and I see the very light. The face is all lit up.
Yeah.
So in order to have this effect, do we have to wear darker clothes all the time?
I would say yes. I would say that you want them to be darker than your face. Bright white clothing would probably not work as well, but it can be. They can be colors, but in this particular shot, it was nice to do it in black and white.
That was very nice. So if I wear a lot of colors, I don't wear white because it doesn't look good, but if I wear a lot of colors, will my face still stand out?
I think it will. There are certain colors that you know complement you and complement your skin tone, so those are the colors that I would recommend that you wear for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. And then I have another thing about patterns. Do we use patterns? Do we use, let's say, lines, polka dots? You know, the patterns of fabrics tell the story when the picture was made.
Yeah.
So what do we do? What do we do? Do we wear solids only? Solid colors?
I do not wear solid colors.
Yeah, that's right.
It used to be that it was expensive to have a professional photographer come in, and you would wear this outfit, and the people would use that photo for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and certainly their clothing would give away when that photo was taken. You could tell. But my recommendation is that you should be taking a new portrait of yourself every 6 months. And so it's not so important that the clothing be timeless. That you can do something that's a little bit bold, a little bit more imaginative, and it makes you seem a little bit more alive and energized when you don't just have something that's plain. True. I feel very energized in this outfit tonight.
Yes.
And so I think this is a good example. Yes. And so I may take a few portraits of me in this outfit, but in 6 months, I'll take something else. And this may scream 2018 in 15 years, but I will have long gone, made lots more photos since then. Once every 6 months is what I recommend. And
That's
because
good.
you can really, with a friend, you don't have to hire a photographer. I think you can work it out with a friend and take lots and lots of shots, make a few mistakes, but you're always going to capture 1 or 2 really good shots that are in there.
Absolutely. So the color, for instance, we know that Pantone Institute of Colors tells us what is the color for this year. Right. You know, this year it's ultraviolet. 2011 was a tangerine tango. It's just 7 years ago. It's not that long ago. It's not 1978.
Right, right.
When that color was still, again, in fashion, you know, but so how can you tell that 7 years have passed by because of the colors, right?
I think colors, also kind of haircuts too.
Yeah,
I think they're very evocative of particular periods as well.
Yeah. And so how about now character revelations. A person is a story on its own. A person can be funny, can be artistic, can be introverted, extroverted, it could be a workaholic, and whatever adjective we want to give to the person. How can a photographer bring out the best feature of that person for just a few pictures? How can you do that?
I think that's a skill set that I think I have. What I do is I learn a lot about the person by talking to them first, and I find out what's the purpose of the photograph and what it is that they want to have come across. And so I brought up some examples of shots. Do we have any shots yet?
13? Let's see. How about this?
Okay. So this gentleman, he is an aspiring model. And so we want him to have contact with the viewer. So he's giving direct eye contact there. Right. We have a nice strong background color to him. Right. He's sort of scruffy attractive. And so that's what he wanted to have come across. And so that's what we came up with this shot. We did a series. We had 3 different outfits, lots of different backgrounds. And so it feels like they were taken at different times. So that's why I like to change the backgrounds, like to change the clothing, so that for that 6 months or plus, you have a variety of pictures that you can choose from instead of it being the same one over and over and over again.
And his look was really intense.
Yes. You want that intense look.
And
if you're a model, you want that.
Yes.
How about a next shot?
How about in the 12? We didn't see the 12. That's it? Oh, yes. What is she doing?
She's a comedian.
Yes, I can tell.
So you immediately get that she's funny, she's quirky, she's humorous. That's what I love about this shot. So that what's great is that people are really attracted to this. She's made buttons out of it. She sells buttons at her show. And when it's on a poster, it's very eye-catching. A lot of times when you see the comics, it's a black and white shot and they're going like this or like that. And this, to me, has a lot more. It's a lot more funny. I mean, you're really drawn in. She's
very expressive.
Yeah.
And I can tell she's kind of a funny person.
She is. And it's a funny show that she does. And so I was able to capture that in the shot. And so I'm really happy with that.
Very nice.
As she was, too.
I'm sure she was. So do you always take photographs of what people do in life for work, for how they live, or it's not necessary? Let's say I'm a designer. I wouldn't want to be portraited with my pencil and roll of paper and my squares and my hands all the time, because I'm a funny person. I like to have fun in life and in work, and so but I still want to be seen as a designer.
You want to be seen as a designer, you want to be seen as professional, accomplished. And so what I try to do with that photograph is I want to bring the confidence that you have forward in the shot. I want to think that what you put on is evocative of the kind of design that you do. If it's, you're kind of cutting edge tonight with what it is that you're wearing, so that tells me a little bit more about you. And then something in the background, if it's a splash of color or pattern or something, that gives us one more dimension to that shot. But you don't have to do the obvious roll of blueprints and a pencil and things like that. I'd rather the personality of the person come across. But I am, as a portrait photographer, it usually is that people want to get across whether they are trustworthy or whatever it is within that photo.
Right, yeah. That's, I think, the best feature, not so much as the profession, right?
Right. You want the humanness of that person to come forward. True. It's not. I want a nice human-looking lawyer. I don't want it to look like all those lawyer shots that you see on the billboards.
Serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't want that.
So the background is always important?
I think it is. I think it could be really add to it. We talked a little bit about it. There is a shot There's a nice one.
Yeah.
All right, so she is a singer.
Right, okay.
And we found a wall that had these vines growing up behind it, and there was just something very ethereal about this shot that I wanted. Her music is very kind of Bjork. Sort of Scandinavian music, and I think that comes across. She feels a little bit Scandinavian in the shot.
Sure.
It is a little bit dreamlike, but there's something very naturalistic about it by having those vines in the background. So I think it's a really good combination. She doesn't have to have a microphone in her, and she doesn't have to have the spotlight on her. It's just something a little bit more organic. Does that make sense?
Oh yes, yes, absolutely. So, what is your suggestion? One of your best suggestion?
For taking a good shot of somebody?
Yeah, maybe background.
For background.
Let's see if you are in a green area, in a greenery, or do the flowers make difference in the back?
Probably they would. The flowers, I think, would be too busy, but a nice hedge that has the texture of the greenery behind. When I take people around, if I find just an interesting wall that has stains on it, or a part of a mural, or a house that's been painted a really cool color, the texture of a fence, all of these things that I think we can use, and there's just something about being out in the open and walking around and discovering. I love people with dappled patterns of shadow behind them, cast from a tree and things. All of those things really work and give life to the shot that you wouldn't get in a studio setting, even if you had some set backgrounds that you could put behind you.
Right. But somehow you can always tell it's a set in the studio. You're right. Yeah, yeah.
You can.
Yeah. So this has been very informative, very interesting, that with just a selfie, with just an iPhone, I wouldn't say a simple iPhone, because simple is not about iPhone. It's easy to use, but a not simple mechanism that we can just do a really good photography.
We can.
And we can do what we used to do with cameras before, that we used to develop films. Now we can do all of this with iPhone and make it really, really fun and easy.
Fun and easy, and feel professional.
And feel professional.
Right.
So I want to thank you tonight. I think we're going to wrap the show tonight. It's been really challenging, really fun. But thank you for the crew for being here for me tonight and making the show. And thank you for my fabulous guest, Randall Whitehead, for being here tonight. And I hope to see you again next time with a new topic, or the same but more elaborated.
Very good. Thank you again for having me. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. A big kiss for everyone. Peace, love. Thank you.